Hey, thanks for joining us for another edition of Going Fishing, where we take a look at the scriptures to help equip and encourage us as we seek to learn to become fishers of men as Jesus has called us to be. Today, we're going to take a look at just a couple of principles from 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. And Peter writes, and he says, "But sanctify Christ as Lord in your hearts, always being ready to make a defense to everyone who asks you to give an account for the hope that is in you, yet with gentleness and reverence." A couple things here, just very quickly. It says, always ready to make a defense. Always ready. It means to be prepared. We have to be prepared before the situation happens for us to be able to make a defense, and to be prepared. There's kind of two ways that this would imply. Number one is a mental preparedness. We've got to be alert and thinking about making a witness, about making a statement and encouragement to others related to the gospel. We have to be ready for that mentally. But also, it would imply that we need to be ready emotionally. We've got to be prepared in that we want to be a witness, and that we genuinely care about the eternal destiny of the people in our lives, the people we may come in contact with. So we've got to be mentally ready, willing to do it, and wanting to do it, and looking for opportunities to do it. And he also, what really we're to be prepared to do is to make a defense of the hope that we have. To make a defense, that's a terminology that would come from a courtroom, where we are testifying and making a defense of a charge against us, where the people were like, why do you believe what you believe? Why do you think this way? We are making a very reasoned, logical, well thought out argument, not to be argumentative, but to make a defense. This is why I believe what I believe. This is why I have hope. And that's what we're called to do. We're not called to make somebody a Christian. We're not to beat them over the head with it. We are to give a reasoned discussion, a reasoned argument. Here's why I believe what I believe. And we do that by knowing what our hope is. Do we know the scriptures well enough to say, this is my hope. This is what I'm trusting in. And then explaining why I trust it. Here's why I trust God. Here's why I trust what the scriptures have to say. And then lastly, with gentleness and reverence. And gentleness and reverence has two different perspectives. Gentleness has to do with the way I would treat those that I'm making a defense to. No matter how they are, no matter how I'm being responded to, no matter how I'm being treated, we need to be gentle in the way we treat people. And the word gentleness, that has the picture of where a mother would care for a nursing child, not wanting to injure, not wanting to bruise, but to do everything possible to get her baby to feed. And that's to be the way we look at unbelievers that we're making a defense to, gentleness. But also reverence. Reverence has to do with our attitude towards God. It's when we are making a defense, and the way we're acting and living out that defense in relationship to people needs to be a reflection of our attitude towards God. And that we are doing this reverently before God, not just reverently before God because we're serving Him, but also the task that we've been called to do is a sacred task. And we need to have a reverence about the fact that we've been called to make a defense of the hope that's in us. So I hope that's an encouragement to you. We're called to be fishers of men. So let's focus and be prepared to go fishing.